Okay, hello chess players. In this video, I want to talk about playing with the book open. It's something that I've seen people do. Like they'll either play with a physical book open, or like they'll have another computer open, like this one, and they'll be looking at the book moves over here in the master's database, or maybe in ChessBase, or something like that. And they'll be playing from their book, like either Power Book or the Fritz opening book, or whatever. Anyways, I want to talk about why you shouldn't do that beyond the obvious, beyond that it's cheating. And I want to talk about why it just doesn't work. Anyways, if you like content like this, want to see more of it, please hit that subscribe button and click your notification icon. Well, I remember back when this first started, where internet chess was just starting to get popular, and I remember I started playing on the internet, and I was doing pretty good, like in Blitz chess. But I remember that, like, when I started playing on the internet for the first time, like all of a sudden I'm playing against these guys and I know who they are. They're rated like, 15, 16, 1700. And these are guys where if I play them in a tournament, maybe the game lasts 10 or 12 moves, they make some, serious opening mistake or opening blunder, or they drop a piece or they hang something or whatever, and I win the game. And that's in like a slow time control tournament, like a game in 2 hours. These guys were making mistakes. And now suddenly I'm playing 3-minute games against them on ICC, which was the Internet Chess Club back in the day. And I'm going 20 moves and they're not making any theory mistakes at all. Now I was still winning the games as soon as we got out of book, but I just started asking one of them, I'm like, are you playing with the book open? And, he told me honestly, like on the phone, he's like, yeah, I have the opening book open. I'm trying to use the ICC to learn the opening. And here's the thing. When I played those guys in regular tournaments, they actually played the opening worse than if they'd never done that, which is kind of interesting. And part of it just has to do with how we memorize information and how we learn things. If you're sitting here and looking at the book while you're playing, you're actually not learning the positions on the board the way you think you are, because you're not thinking about the positions on the board. You're not thinking about, okay, I'm making this move to open up the position, or I'm trying to get to my structure, or you're not thinking about the plans that are down the road. You're not thinking about any of these positions in any kind of context that will help you remember it. You're not thinking about, like, I'm going to be attacking the dark squares later, or I'm going to try to win this exchange, or I'm making a threat. Even like really basic traps, like, the 11 fish trap and the dragon, these guys would still fall for it in a tournament game. Now, they wouldn't fall for it when they had the book open, but they would fall for it in a tournament game. They would immediately fall for it, and they would, like, takes knight g4, and they would immediately hang their queen in a tournament game, to the same old knight e6 traps. They would still fall for the same trap in a tournament game because they don't have any context. Like, why am I playing f4 in the first place? And another thing they don't have is they don't have the context of the move itself. Like, they don't understand it. Like, if you analyze this move on your own, and you look at it on a physical board and you have a chance to go over it and maybe run the engine while you look at it on your own without playing in a game, and then try to memorize what the top theory is in the position and then go through that on a physical board as well and really put some time into it, you start learning, okay, white's threatening e5, there's this trap idea. Maybe I should be playing after, pawn to f4, maybe instead of bishop g7, I should be playing knight c6. Maybe this is a better move, and, here are the reasons why. And then you start understanding the ideas, you start understanding the context, and then this allows you to actually not just play knight c6 in a tournament game, it also allows you to perform better once the exchange happens and the pawn gets pushed and you end up playing the middle game. You understand the middle games a little bit better because you have all this context. You have complete games that you've looked at, you have notes that you've looked at, you have people's comments that you've looked at, and you start understanding the position a little bit better. It's kind of like when you play chess with the book open, it's kind of like learning how to read by simply looking at each individual letter without even knowing how to sound it out. So it's like that's basically what you're trying to do. You don't even know what these moves sound like, so to speak. So you have no context for these moves. So if over the years I had seen anybody successfully play chess on the internet with the book open and actually manage to learn an opening with it, and it was working, I would tell people to do it. Now, I'd tell people to do it in a way that wasn't cheating. I'd say, well, call your best friend on the phone, and then you can do it together so that you both know what you're doing, and then that's not cheating because you're both aware of it. But quite frankly, I don't tell people to do that because quite frankly, it just doesn't work. Now, one thing that might work is you can maybe call your friend and agree to play an opening against him. Say, hey, let's play the dragon against each other, 100 times today. You can do that. That actually works really well, but not with the book open. You do it with the book closed. You play a game, you go over it afterwards, you learn the theory, and then you play another game, and you can train with the same opening over and over and over again, and try different things, throw things out when they don't work, open up the book after each game is over with, go over it, and then go at it again. That actually works. That actually helps significantly. And of course, that's not cheating. No, that's what we call training games, and professional players do those all the time. We will hire people to play training games where we will try to find somebody that is, supposedly the best at a given opening. And we'll say, I want this guy because I want to play against his theory in this opening and I want him to explain it to me. And I want to play, a dozen games against this guy in these types of positions that maybe I'm not comfortable with or not familiar with. And that's a totally reasonable way to do it. Ask somebody if they can play the same opening against you over and over and over again so that you can learn it. But don't do it with the book open. You open up the book before, you open up the book after the game, not during. Not because it's cheating, but because it will not help you learn. It will actually get in the way. You'll actually know less after you're done with that game than you knew before. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents worth. I hope that advice helps you. I hope it helps you get better at chess, and I hope it helps you study the opening a little bit better. Thank you very much for watching.